Rob Jacobson that does film editing here in the office and research. I'd seen it in the news, but he brought it to me and pointed out that they're having massive suicides at the big plant in China that makes the iPads and iPhones. And because they're making them work like 16, 17 hours a day. And because they're committing suicide and everything's falling apart and it's total slavery, Apple now makes them sign a contract that they won't commit suicide, and if they even or show any mental illness, so if you argue, you're taken to a mental institution. So this is psychological tyranny and total slavery, and it's actually got the quotes in the Fox News article. So I briefly wanted to bring Rob Jacobson up on the phone system to break down his views on it, because he said it so well during that short break. Then I'm going to cover the economy briefly, then to your phone calls, then Walter Burian. Go ahead.
Hi, Alex. I got this article right here. Apple maker Foxconn steps up anti-suicide drive. And the very first line in the article says, Apple manufacturer Foxconn Wednesday urged workers to sign contracts promising not to kill themselves to stem a spat of suicides. Later on in the article, near the end of this one article, some guy who works at the plant actually was quoted as saying, if I bicker with my supervisor, I will be sent to a mental hospital. And then the plant themselves follow up by saying, this guy, there is no shortage of people trying to get through the Shenzhen gates. The company says around 8,000 people apply to work at the factory every day. So here you have 300,000 people working in this Foxconn factory in China, which they admit they have people from all over remote areas of China applying for jobs. They immediately, the moment they get a job there, they have to waive their rights away, meaning that they know that they are going to be over-houred, underpaid, and all this stuff so that the Chinese regulations don't apply to them. And now that all these people have been worked to death, they're committing suicide, they're using that as an excuse to have them sign even more kind of draconian waiving their rights against them, which means that if they bicker with their supervisor, there's no argument. There's no time.
And this is the essence of the New World Order. Create inhuman conditions. Then when you rebel, they clamp in with even more dehumanization. Then there'll be more suicides. Then everyone will have to be drugged. And remember, all of the Apple iPad and iPhone knockoffs are costing on average half of what the Apple does. The Apple, I've read, the iPad may have $60 in it. An iPhone may have $20 in it. Giant, huge profits for Al Gore on their board, for Steve Jobs. But because they say they're liberal and for carbon taxes, the left loves it. The most abusive factories, the most evil. And it's just totally, absolutely sickening. And this is how it works. And so I've got to come out against the iPhone and the iPad. Even though they're nice products, I mean, this makes Nike look like angels, and this is a perfect example. And America will soon be like this. We're being destroyed by globalization. China is the lowest of the low. They are the great sucking sound. That's where everything that's sucked down the globalist toilet ends up with these poor human beings. I mean, have you seen the Microsoft photos of everybody asleep? Sleeping during their break in their 20-hour work days inside that facility, that photo that came out a few weeks ago?
Yeah, I've seen it. In fact, there's an article sitting right outside your studio where there are photographs of these people standing there for 8 hours a day. Some of them have to drop things just to give their legs a rest. Some of them complain about they don't even feel like they're human anymore. It's obviously this top corporate, scheme to get these people to work like robots.
By the way, they work a lot more than 8 hours. China, routinely, they work 18 hours in some cases. I mean, they have firework factories where part of public school, the kids have to work 3 days a week. Look at this. Foxconn opens plant to reporters after suicides. Another Foxconn employee dies in China media. 9th worker death in iPhone factory. That's in Taiwan. And it just shows these people. Plus, it's the chemicals. I mean, when I drilled that iPad, all that you were here, you saw that weird poison smoke that came out.
And in fact, I understand that there is an article. I mean, Apple has been caught a lot of times with these weird cancers coming out of their factories years ago. They know about all these weird chemicals they put in these places, in these machines, these weird combination of chemicals. And who knows what's going on in this factory with this combination? I mean, 300,000 workers. There's got to be a lot of different chemistry going on that these people are inhaling. And if you even complain about it to your supervisor, if you're uncomfortable, if you can't stand anymore, well, the new thing is going to be that you'll be just dragged away to a mental hospital. And according to the factory, they don't really care because 8,000 people apply for work there every single day, which means it's only a matter of time where the people who don't want to sign the thing will be sifted out, and they'll have a full population of people there who have signed this new statement. And then if you're uncomfortable, if you can't stand anymore, if you're inhaling bad chemicals, if you're, no matter what the issue is, they'll just drag you away and replace you with a new one, truly treating you like,
And this is globalization. They don't want middle classes that have their own truly sustainable communities. They don't want people that are independent and free and healthy. They love debasing everything to the lowest level so everyone is bankrupt, so everyone can come to them and get the lowest wage. Look what open borders and NAFTA and GATT have done to Mexico. They, according to every research paper out there, Mexico is far worse than they were 17 years ago with the adoption of NAFTA and GATT. It hurts us. It hurts them. It hurts the Chinese. And this is our destruction and nothing but pure evil coming out of all these widgets and what we think is cheap, and then buying the cheap goods destroys our industry, and it just gets worse and worse. And then we have more environmental standards, which no one can put up with. So everything goes to China where there's no standards, and that's why they've been chosen as the model of the new world government, where it's literally a system devouring humanity. Paul Watson was on with us earlier with a key article, Top Construction Firm, WTC Destroyed by Controlled Demolition. We have another big report up, Corporate Media by Kurt Nimmo. Uses fraudulent MSNBC transcript to portray Rand Paul as a racist. I think this is libelous, that they know it's not what he said and they're going with it. Slanderous, defamation.